Hey guys, it's Keith here, and in this one I'm gonna show you why playing patiently in Broken Arrow is gonna help you win the game. We're gonna be using our Russia Mr. Turtle deck here. It's gonna be a mix of the Guards Tank Division as well as the Navy of the Russian side. But technically in this game, we're not gonna see a lot about, well, we're not gonna see any Mr. being used at all. Instead, we're gonna be seeing the Buratino in action, so definitely want to stay tuned for. We're going to be fighting against the American forces, and the map is going to be on Oil Rush. It's a very interesting map. It seems symmetrical, but really it's not so much. There's not much symmetry other than the fact that the both sides of the objective point is split in half with a dip on the main road where triple major points are located in. We're gonna find ourselves on the center of the map here, and Alpha being the first objective that we're gonna have to capture. It's a very interesting game today and really showcases why patience definitely wins the game in Broken Arrow. That, and while keeping our units alive and making sure that they are healthy and topped up, and once again putting them in the right position. With the start of the game right now, we did bring out a MiG-29K, as it's gonna be our aircraft today to challenge the skies and hopefully take out any cheeky American aircrafts that are flying overhead right now. The MiG-29K is equipped with 4 longer range, so 7-kilometer anti-aircraft missiles there. So we're going to be launching a couple of them towards the enemy F-22 Raptor there. And the MiG-29 Hero launches 2 missiles, 2 confirmed hits. We're going to be bringing down an expensive F-22 Raptor. The enemy team has opted not to bring out any aircrafts in today, so we're gonna temporarily secure the air for our side right now, which once again allows our helicopter to push up very freely right now. So we're gonna keep the MiG-29K hovering about as our teammate is doing the same with his Su-33. I'm deliberately flying the MiG-29K towards this direction just in case the enemy decides to have any helicopters out towards this side of the map for some early pushes and early recon drops. So far we're not seeing anything right now, but nevertheless we're just going to keep it hanging about and make sure that we capitalize on the air engagement and potentially take any new wins. Now the map is rather large, so reinforcing units is going to take some time to travel all the way to the front lines here, but though with that in consideration, I've actually brought out a couple of fast-moving units to really zoom quickly towards the middle of the map right now. When you're starting, when you're playing the game, you gotta understand how your units move, most notably the speed of your units. So bringing out the correct unit types in the early phases of the game, or well, likely your openers, is gonna be a crucial point here. You can see right now I've brought up double quartets. These are BRDMs equipped with long-range Kornet missiles on top. BTRA is going to be carrying a Kornet team, a Conquest team, as well as an Eagle team in each of the BTR-ADs. We're going to be using them to garrisoning them inside some of these taller buildings here to provide a wide range, like so, as well as a Cessna that's going to be on standby just so that we take out any potential enemy helicopters that might be flying in right now. Already our quartet is in the perfect position in this tree line here, launching its first rocket strike and destroying one of the enemy Humvees here, as well as taking out the second Humvee that's unfortunately pushing up too close, and our quartet is already in position. Orange players, I think that's a war pick. I keep forgetting the name of that vehicle, but no, doesn't matter now, right? Doesn't matter really right now because we've also destroyed that very quickly. Teammate on the left side here actually managed to find a sneaky helicopter trying to deploy some units towards our back lines here, so he's gonna have to take care of that very quickly as the enemy artillery is already firing towards where my quartet was. As you can see right now, our Conquest team in the perfect position to be covering this wide area of the front right now. We're going to be moving one of our BRDMs towards the Bravo point here to see if we can pick off enemy light units and take care of them. Spetsnaz VMS is already been brought up. You notice that we've actually have a Ka-29 attack helicopter on station right now, and that was the one that brought up our Spetsnaz from the reinforcement point. After the Conquerors has revealed its position, I'm immediately moving it away from the building there, just so that I don't get struck by the enemy artillery that's already present in the battlefield right now. BRDM is going to try to capture the Bravo point, but the enemy, let me know in the comments what the name is. I keep forgetting what that name is. The enemy Dauphin helicopter is being destroyed immediately by my Verba team. Sorry, not Iglis, the Verba team. So these Verba teams actually come equipped with 2 launches, so they're going to be able to quickly launch 2 missiles directly into the enemy helicopters. I've already brought out a large supply dump. As you can see, I'm using the Ka-29 to really split the large supply dumps into different sections here. The reason why I'm doing this is because the land-based logistic vehicles that I have has a supply carrying range of 10,000 kilograms, and I don't necessarily want full 10,000 kilograms into one section, so I'm using the Ka-29 to split it apart and have the land-based logi pick it up again and move it into different sections of the battlefield. Once again, oh, we actually got a achievement there. So Minin Prozaski spawning 1,612 Russian units. It's a cool little achievement, I think. Excuse me, guys. Already we have a T-80 VVM tank engaging the enemy Leopard tank from a distance here. We're going to be engaging that in a tank duel. Technically, the Leopard is going to out damage my T-80 BV, but any damage that we can dish onto the Leopard is going to be a good time for us, as the Spetsnaz now in a position to engage the enemy Humvee that's been providing vision across the road here. The enemy is using a lot of artillery, so we're going to have to keep our units moving around and make sure that we don't suffer any needless artillery damage. Lime Green's teammates double T-90 is going to be pushing up and eliminating the Leopard for us as we fall back our tank to a supply dump. Well, see, the MTSM is going to be bringing the supply dump right now. So the MTSM is carrying 3,000 kilograms right now, and that's only because we use the Ka-29, who has a maximum carrying capacity of 3,000 kilograms, to split the supply dump apart and have the land-based logi pick it up and move it around. I do wish that Broken Arrow would change this and allow land-based logi to select the number of supplies they want to carry, but so far I think the only way to do that is to split it apart using different units, because every time a supply logi picks up the supply dump, it's going to carry it, it's going to fill it all the way up to its maximum carrying capacity. You can see right now, with us holding this side of the front and our teammate on the left side here engaging the Peach player, we're going to be landing a bit of a support here with our BTR-80, landing some auto cannon fire towards the enemy Ranger squad. MTSM is going to be bringing that supply dump closer to the front, and I don't necessarily want to be moving my Ka-29 too close to the front line here, as the enemy might have some anti-air missiles like Stingers or any shore rats that might be able to take out my Ka-29. So far you can see the Verba team in a perfect position right now to be engaging the enemy Commanche. Throughout this entire game, our static emplacements here, the weapon squads, in fact the Kornets, the Conquerors as well as the Verbas has been doing absolutely amazing for us in this game. And we are constantly moving them. Every time they fire their shots, we're moving them away, make sure that they take a minute or two to get out of the position just in case the enemy artillery is coming down on them. A second T-80 UM is already in position right now. Over on this side, we're going to be supporting the lime green player here. Sorry, the teal player. I really need to get better names for these colors here. The T-80 UM is going to be pushing out to make sure that we engage some of the enemy assets there. But without an adequate recon, we're going to be coming under fire from the enemy long-range javelin. The Commanche is going to take out her Cessna, which is very crucial right now to engage the Commanche. But thankfully, we already have several Verba teams in position to be able to cover that side of the front here. Throughout the entire front, our teammates here are doing exceptionally well at holding the position, making sure that we prevent the enemies from pushing across, while simultaneously building up our forces instead. And I think for the highlight of this match is really to pay attention on how crucial it is to make sure that you play the game patiently, at least for the first phase of the game. You gotta make sure that you have the patience to build up your forces before you push out. Throughout the entire game here, the enemy has been needlessly throwing their units piecemeal towards our defensive lines here, and so they're losing a lot of units needlessly, I will say, when they could have built up their own side of the forces and push out as a stronger force. Nevertheless, the enemy's cluster artillery doesn't really do any damage towards our infantry hiding in these buildings here, but we're gonna be moving them as well, and just making sure that we keep the units mobile as much as we can, and make sure that the enemy keep guessing. Well, this is gonna cause more pressure and confusion towards the enemy, as the enemy has to constantly guess where our units are. BT3F unfortunately gets taken out by the enemy Javelin squad. All in all, I think we're using our units beautifully today, making sure that we keep our units alive at most of the time. You can see throughout the entire game I've been using these BTR-80s. The BTR-80s have a carrying capacity of 8 men, I think. So most of our units here are either 4 men strong or 7 men strong today. So we're able to really use BTRs as battle taxis here. So anytime a unit needs to go back to one of the supply dumps, we're going to be bringing in the BTR-80, pushing them forward, picking them up, and then bringing them back to the supply dump. In a map like this with limited concealment, once again, there's not a lot of tree lines or trees for us to hide our supply dumps in. We're gonna have to make sure that we put our supply dumps further back and make sure that the enemy does not necessarily target them with artillery and destroy a supply dump. That's why it's crucial for us to have these BTR-80s to act as battle taxis and carrying these units back to the supply dumps very quickly. This BTR-80 is going to be pushed out, engaging and destroying the enemy Mapad squads, as once again the red player has his helicopter destroyed by my Stinger teams already in position. BRDM is going to be launching long-range ATGM fires against the pink players' approaching vehicles. New T-80 reinforcement has been brought up. This time the enemy has made some mistakes of pushing his Kiowa too deep into the front lines here and getting it destroyed by my tanks. You can see right now we're not necessarily pushing out so far because the enemy has been constantly engaging our position. So we're gonna let the enemy do the dirty work for us and letting them come to our position instead of us having to push out. So in this case, the enemy is constantly feeding to our scores here. As you can see on the top side of the scores here, we're already up by a solid 2,300 points ahead of their 3,000 points here. But we are gonna have to take care of one of the objective points here if we're gonna deny the enemy any points at all. TU player on the left side using a lot of infantry to push across, and that's technically a great thing to do, because once you can get across to this side of the map here, you're gonna have access to the forested area, which is gonna be providing a lot more concealment. Oh, that was a massive Buratino or thermobaric strike over that position. With our T-80s under artillery bombardment right now, we're gonna be pushing them ahead and diving them in the dip right now. Gonna be uncovering Pink's player's Thunderbolt as well as the M113 troop carrier. Both of these T-80 is gonna have no problem engaging this enemy unit, but an enemy Adsoft team, this one is one of the Baltic units, does have access to one of the AT launchers, And unfortunately, my T-80 was having its rear armor facing the assault unit, so it's going to suffer a very big damage indeed. Orange player is going to be pushing his Leopard down in the dip with us. Active protection saving it from one of the Conquerors as the enemy cruise missiles takes out one of my T-80. With the other T-80 in a very low health, we're going to be forced to pull him back and get him back to one of the supply dump to resupply. Thankfully, we still have a fresh T-80. We're going to be pushing that towards the right side here to provide support. Kvartet also, once again, after getting resupplied, going to be moved out. As you can see, I'm using the BRDM to pick up these infantry squads that has already ran out of ammo, and I'm going to be using the BTR to really move them back to the supply dump very quickly. Spetsnaz being sneaky in the tree line here is going to be providing a lot of recon right now across the side, as our teammate in the lime green here makes a push with his tanks towards the delta point, trying to neutralize as many points as the enemy can get, while also securing our sections here for us. Phase 1 coming to an end soon. With 6 seconds left on the clock, we're at a very healthy position here. As you can see, throughout the entire time, the enemy has been constantly just trying to push units across our front here. And if you notice on the top right side, the enemy only actually has an access to a very thin tree line, able to hide their units in, with much of their territory being open ground. So once again, they're suffering from the same problem that we have, which is limited concealment areas for concealing their infantry or units. BRDM is going to be pushing up back into the tree line once again, trying to launch any long-range missiles that they can to try and take out as much as they can on the enemy side. You see a large group of reinforcement has already been called in throughout this entire game. I've been floating a lot of points, and thankfully my forces are still relatively healthy, and we haven't been losing a lot of units here. So right now, at the beginning of phase 2, we're already building up forces to prepare ourselves to assault the enemy's position on the right side, on the left side here. Lovely bombing run takes out both Ranger Javelin teams belonging to the enemy. So kudos to my teammate there for a beautiful airstrike, as our units are still keeping the line strong. And we're not really in a rush to push down into the objective area to take it out or capture it for now, because the enemy is constantly feeding us. It's unsafe for us to push down with the enemy constantly being so aggressive. At the very least, we are taking a lot of wind right now and making sure that we kill the enemy's units as quickly as we can, which is definitely going to help us with our scores. Our reinforcements taking their sweet time to get themselves towards the front line here, but eventually they're gonna make it close. And my game plan right now is try to push across the line here, and ultimately I want to take over Charlie sector, but more specifically I want to take over the left side. The forest area is gonna provide us with a lot of advantages in concealing our units' movements and making sure that we can have a healthy supply dump in one of these trees here, to be able to retreat our units into and save from enemy artillery strikes. Ka-29 still being a very crucial asset here, able to really bring the supplies, to split the supplies up and bring them up to the front lines. BTR-80 is also being a very wonderful battle taxis. Once the infantry has topped up their ammo, we're going to be using the BTR-80s to bring them back to position towards the front lines. So currently, with our units mostly in position. We're technically just waiting on one final piece that I've already queued up, and that's gonna be the Buratino. The Buratino is gonna be artillery today. It's gonna be launching a lot of artillery shells into the Charlie sector to dislodge enemy positions from those buildings. Once we hamper the enemy or weaken the enemy's position, we're gonna be pushing our units out and assaulting the Charlie position. And here we go, the TOS-1 Buratino is going to be and it's a very heavy vehicle, so it's going to be taking some time for it to reach the front line, but eventually it does make it to the front line safe, unharmed. We're going to be queuing a barrage from it soon enough. The teammates T-14 Armata just finding some cover between these oil drums here, the silos, sorry. As you can see on the right side here, the enemy is actually just constantly feeding and pushing a lot of units into the direction. So our teammates is having a field day right now, claiming a lot of American assets today. Buratino is going to be pushing into the tree lines here, getting into range, and ideally I want to be targeting the Charlie sector. Going to be queuing up a creeping barrage. In this case, you can see me hesitating whether I want to target the buildings or the tree line. But with our Spetsnaz in view right now, and I don't suspect any units are in the tree line, I'm going to be targeting that building instead. Pink player once again pushing his Kiowa too close to the front line, is going to get taken out needlessly. As the enemy artillery constantly trying to shell my teammates T-14 Armata, but it's kind of broken to see that the that the silo is providing a lot of cover fire here. With the Buratino's firing solution acquired, we're going to be pushing all of our units out. The reinforcement units, the assault team, is going to be charging out right now and engaging the Charlie sector, and in a timely fashion too, because both of my Cessna is in range right now to take out the enemy's Chinook. This T-80 BV going down the hill is going to be taking out the enemy's Leopard. And the Cessna does take out the Chinook, which is carrying a full complement of infantry in that position. You can see, with being patient, allows me to build up my forces here, and we're going to be pushing a lot of units right now across the front. And with me going to the dip, I think if the enemy saw that, it would have been a very obvious choice to just push towards a straight line. But we're going to be using the dip here to break line of contact and shift our units slightly to the left here to engage the enemies that are hiding in the tree lines here. Orange players Rangers Brawls team, it's going to be a dangerous threat for my vehicle, so we're going to be dismounting our units and pushing the Gvardi Motostrelki team. Yep, I pronounced that correctly this time. Gvardi Motostrelki team, which they themselves technically is like a Rangers Raw team, so they're not really going to be effective against other infantry here. As you can see, the enemy, the pink player actually has a lot more infantry than I suspected. So we're gonna end up losing the Gvardi, these infantry. Thankfully, we do have these vehicles in position to be able to provide multiple support, as our push kick-started or initiated our teammates' effort and redoubling their efforts into pushing the entire line across. So kudos to our teammates here for really seeing or reading the situation and pushing everything out at the same time. Teammate on the left here, Teal, has already moved up his infantry in a very beautiful position to be able to cover a lot of avenue of access from the enemy forces here. We're gonna dive our Gvardi into this enemy infantry here, but like I said, that specific unit is not really equipped to be storming buildings or fighting against enemy infantry. These two tanks, although heavily damaged right now, is still in a good position to be providing fire support, as throughout the entire map right now you can hear explosions going all over the place. And we have the first sign of the enemy's state of mind right now. So the enemy has decided to disconnect from the game, which is gonna be a prelude to what's about to come. So our assault across the line here has been proven successful, as our units now is taking positions inside these tree lines here. we're gonna end up losing our tank to that Commanche because our Sosna was not in position to be covering it. Our engagement into Charlie was blunted by the pink player's infantry that was in position. Don't actually have any correct units in position to be able to solve that problem right now. So we're going to take a pause here and make sure that we secure better positions that are better for our units right now. Over here we can see a number of special forces team here, rangers, hiding in the tree line, so we're gonna have to be careful here. T-80 in a perfect position to snipe this NASAM trying to retreat back to the back lines here. We're gonna be taking that out in one single hit. With our forward element or assault team claiming these positions, all the units that we've been using this entire time to hold the front is now going to be pushed up through front and once again take better positions to cover the line. Now I did move my T-80 after it's revealed its position. Unfortunately, it was just in the time where these two enemy assets are moving away, but the T-80 still managed to destroy another enemy NASAMS and trying to take out the enemy Patriot, but unfortunately the Patriot survives just barely. So we're gonna be we're gonna end up missing that valuable asset for our scores. Nevertheless, we're going to be pushing all of our units right now, especially the Conquer's team, to where the tank was previously. And it's going to help us cover that road a little bit better as well. On the right side here, you can see dark green player already pushing his units towards the Gamma objective, securing it for our side. Throughout the entire time right now, all our teammates are doing a fantastic job at destroying enemy units, taking good positions, and moving all these units into the correct places. A brief lull suddenly, and our teammate Lumo, who's been playing the lime green right now, has noticed that only the Charlie objective is left, and we're gonna have to push everything that we have to overwhelm that Charlie position, kickstarting the sudden death countdown timer and ending the game soon. A second, well actually I didn't even notice, third player Zapka has already disconnected and left the game. So there's only 2 players left on the enemy side. I'm gonna have to quickly mop them out. So with the green player now pushing the vanguard forces and finding a lot of juicy kills towards the backline here, free easy points, all these undefended sand batteries just there for the taking. And our units on the left side here are going to be pushing up, taking better positions in these tree lines. Forces here are going to be charging straight up into Charlie. Even the Buratino has been brought up to the front. As we take the momentum that we've been securing right now to really dominate the enemy and pushing all our units inside right now. T-80 as well as our teammates T-90, it's going to be engaging the enemy infantry that kind of prevented us from conquering Charlie early on. With that eliminated, every single thing that we have right now is going to be told to fast move towards the enemy spawn point. And really it's just a wave of Russian tanks pushing deep. As we overwhelm the enemy, nothing has stopped us now, it's pushed through. The sudden death timer countdown has been kickstarted. It is now 1:45 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, just a solid game plan here. It's kind of unfortunate that the enemy decided to desert, which is definitely gonna hurt their settings here. I think the game has a setting where if you have more desertion, it's gonna make it difficult for you to find games in the future. So I personally think that no matter how depressing the game can turn out to be, you don't necessarily want to desert and just play it out or surrender. That's always the option. This T-80 pushing up very close right now. It's going to be encountering the enemy Commanche. We're going to be diving it into the tree line here with his machine gun, now getting into range, but the Sosna is going to beat it to it and eliminate the enemy Commanche. Kudos to the enemy players who are still in the game and it's not deserting right now. So thank you guys if you're watching this video. Thank you guys for continuing to play. It shows you the kind of character that you guys are. This was the point where I bring out the double Su-33 to really, well, since we're technically winning already, we're just going to bring out anything we can. We have the points to spare, and we're going to be pushing our Su-33 all the way to the danger zone, trying to see if the enemy might be spawning any aircrafts here to continue the game. And in fact, the Peach player does end up spawning F-16 CJs as well as the Raptor, and we're gonna push our Su-33 in there. Lovely air fight here, and there we have it. Countdown finish. And we have a complete victory. We end up having 6,525 kills, 1,105 points in death, amazing KD ratio of 5.9, with the coveted Art of War medal in our possession. So, a very textbook example of why you should have the patience, build up your forces, play it safe, and then overwhelm the enemy. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like always, I'll see you in the next one, guys.